Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's jump in.
All
Okay,
right.
welcome to part 2 of Flowers for Algernon. This is Bookalicious, a podcast where two sisters chat about books or reading. I'm Chrissy,
And I'm Candace.
and we are wrapping up the biggest tragedy yet, Flowers for Algernon.
Yes. So we left off with everyone at the convention center, but I did have one last thing that I felt like it was taking too long in our previous one. I was like, I'm just going to pick it up in this part, if that's okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So there was this quote, and I'm trying to find it now. Okay. So it's on page 107, and we're talking about Professor Nimmer. Nimmer?
I was saying
Nimmer like
Beamer,
lemur?
but
Yeah. Professor Nimmer. And he's basically kind of made a fool of himself a little bit at the conference. And we find out it's because he has a lot of pressure from his wife, Bertha, who basically got him the gig with the grant. And she's been pushing him to get the results out really fast, which is why he hasn't been doing as much testing as he should be before
Mm,
unveiling their progress report.
okay.
And so Charlie and I can't remember who it was. I think it's the testing guy. I can't remember his name. It's like Brian or
Strauss?
Bert or something.
Oh, Bert, yeah.
Bert. And he says, Bert says, until you've had a woman like her writing you, her being Bertha, don't think you can understand the man who has. And this to me felt similar to Rose and how you
Mm.
have these two women who have these very strong opinions and they're kind of quote unquote riding their men, these
Oh,
men.
yeah. I think that's a good parallel. I think that's probably the connection he's trying to make.
And it kind of almost sounds like it's these women that are driving these men to make these poor choices.
So you're saying it's like taking the responsibility off of the men onto the women?
Kind of being like if you are a strong, opinionated woman and you're not like being the supportive 1950s housewife,
Mm-hmm.
your men are going to make bad choices.
Yeah. I could see that. Well, I wonder though if it could also kind of be saying the opposite, where it's like if you're not a strong-willed man, you should be. Like you need to
Oh,
be right. You need to be doing the right thing too.
yeah.
Like you both need to be like, have your head on your shoulders
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah, that's interesting though. Well, I mean, okay, but neither woman seems to have like good motives either. It doesn't really seem like anyone has good motives.
These women aren't peaches. Certainly not.
Yeah. No one's innocent here. No one makes it out alive.
Certainly not. Yeah, but it kind of just feels like I don't
That
know.
felt a little weird.
I don't want to say it's anti-woman, but kind of how some of the women are described in this book I don't love.
Yeah,
But
I could see that. Were there other
yeah,
women characters you didn't love?
I didn't like Alice and I feel like she kind of took advantage of Charlie a little bit. I do like how he describes, which we'll get into your summary, I can't remember her name now. It's slipping away from me. His
Faye?
Faye. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But let's let me let you do your summary and then we can
All
talk
right.
about it.
Okay, yeah, let's summarize first. So, our part 2 is picking up with Charlie. He just got back from the conference. He has stolen Algernon, and he goes out and buys an apartment in New York City, 4 bedrooms with a grand piano, $95 a month. And he goes, ugh, kind of pricey. And that's when we knew we weren't in 2024. So we're in the
Hmm.
1950s. Charlie has stopped going into the lab because he's like, I don't want to be a lab rat anymore. Um, and in this like part 2, he's made friends with his neighbor Faye, who Candy just mentioned, who is like this young and free woman, loves going out drinking and dancing, and also loves being with people. So she and Charlie kind of start a romantic kind of relationship. But he's not really into her. He's actually still kind of into Alice. But in the second half of the book, we see old Charlie start to come back. So intelligent Charlie starts feeling hindered because old Charlie, he feels like, is watching them, especially when it comes to him and Alice. And so he feels like old Charlie's kind of trying to come back and regain control over their body. So we see that come up in the second half. We also learn more about the mom and dad. Charlie actually goes to visit the dad, who now owns a barbershop in the Bronx, but doesn't reveal himself to the dad, which we can talk about later. But I was like, okay. He does that. He goes to see his mom and Norma, his sister. Mom has maybe something like Alzheimer's-ish a little bit.
Hmm.
She's kind of in the present, but mostly she lives in the past. And they kind of have a good conversation together. She recognizes that he's now intelligent and she says, "Oh my goodness, I need to go tell the whole town. I'm so happy. This is great." He talks to Norma and they kind of get to talk about some things, but Charlie is run out of the house when the mom shifts back into previous times, sees Charlie there, thinks he's a threat to Norma, and then starts chasing him with a knife, which is how he was thrown out of the house the first time. So very sad. The biggest plot that happens in the second half of the book, though, is that Algernon starts regressing. He starts becoming more violent and angry, and he starts losing his ability to do the mazes and things. And so now Charlie realizes that his intelligence is going to be short-lived too. So he goes into hyperdrive, trying to do all this research and experiments so that he can learn what's happening in his brain. He kind of realizes that he won't really be able to change his fate, but maybe he's hoping that he can make an impact on other people like him, and kind of help progress the field of science.
Hmm.
And then he and Alice get together. He kind of is able to overcome that block a little bit. She moves in with him in his final days, but as he's regressing, he doesn't want to be near anybody, so he like banishes all of them. And then the story ends with him regressing essentially back to where he was, going back to Miss Kinnian's class and checking himself into the Warren home, which is
Hmm.
a over overrun, overfilled, under-resourced home for people with disabilities. That
Yeah.
when he was aware of what was going on, he's like, "Oh my gosh, that's going to be awful when I end up there." But in the end,
Hmm.
it's where he goes.
Yes. So one of the big punchlines with the research is that the professor, Niemer, he didn't find out that there was this study done in India that would basically prove that the intelligence wasn't permanent.
Oh, yeah.
And it got brought up to him at the conference, and he was just like, oh, well, the research that they do in India is not as good as they do it here. So I'm going to ignore it. So you see him kind of getting defensive and basically trying to treat other people as lesser, which is par for the course. And so Charlie sees that, he remembers that, and then he starts piecing it all together. And then he finds out that because his brain grew 3 times the size, basically, to triple his IQ, it's going to shrink at a very rapid rate.
Yeah.
And there's like this relationship between how fast your IQ goes up and then how quickly you deteriorate. And he gets published in these academic articles and he calls it the Gordon Algernon effect or Algernon Gordon
Mm-hmm.
effect. He gave Algernon the first spot. And so, anyway, so once he starts declining, it's very rapid.
Yeah. Uh, It's so brilliant though. You see it through his writing, like he starts misspelling things, stops using
Mhm.
grammar, and he's aware of it too because he tries reading the same books that he's read before and he's like it's just not sticking anymore. It's like he knows what's happening. He goes back to work in the bakery
Mhm.
and they've kind of turned a tune to him to start being nicer, but can't do it.
So before we get to the end, Charlie uses his neighbor Faye as basically an object for him to get over his sexual repression so that he can get
Yeah.
with Alice.
Yeah. Not great.
And Faye seems like the type of person who is very sexually free, and she seems like the type of person that is, maybe okay with casual hookup relationships like that.
Hmm.
But then later on in the book, she starts becoming very possessive of Charlie, and he doesn't like that. So clearly she's kind of caught feelings, as they say.
Hmm.
What did you think about Charlie's behavior with Faye and that whole relationship?
I mean, it's not a good relationship. I feel like Charlie's treating his life like an experiment too, which is what everyone else is doing to his life. And he's like, okay, I think he's just looking at it very like logically and scientifically and like kind of devoid of emotion, which makes sense because his intelligence is so much higher than his emotional intelligence. So he's like, okay, in order for me to be able to be with Alice, I need to overcome this block. And to do that, I need to be with Faye first. And so, yeah, not a good relationship. Yeah, I mean, it's not good, but I don't know.
I,
What did you think?
thinking about it now, so up until this point in the book, everyone's been using Charlie for what they can get out of him.
Mm.
And now here he is with Faye, and he's using her for what he can get out of her.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and to me, it kind of feels like the abused becomes the abuser
Mm-hmm.
circle. And then there's a scene later on where there's someone who has some form of mental handicap, and he's dropping things and people are laughing, and Charlie catches himself laughing,
Mm-hmm.
and he realizes how like he's just like everybody else now, even though he used to be that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't pick up on him using Faye like that.
Because how
Gosh.
he treats Faye is really bad, I think.
Yeah. Of like what, just going over there for like his own use.
Yeah, just totally using her for her body and for him to get over his, sexual repressions, and not really having any concerns for Faye.
I don't think he knows how to have concerns because I think he's just so removed. Like I don't think he really understands the effect or the repercussions of what he's doing, you know, which doesn't excuse him from it, but
That's what I was going to ask.
yeah. Well, okay, let's see. Is he aware that what he's doing is wrong? Because if he's not aware, then is he excused from it?
I think he's smart enough to where if he thought about it, he would recognize, and he later on in the book, he describes as having shame for a lot of his behavior because he realized, I think it was Niemer who said something like, "You are egotistical," like, what did he say? I highlight it.
He's become really like prideful and like putting other people down because he's so intelligent. Is that kind of
Yes,
thing?
exactly. And then once Charlie hears that and then he thinks about his actions, he realizes, yeah, I actually have become like this monster of
Mm,
just only thinking about myself.
yeah.
So I think if he had taken a moment to sit down and like reflect on it, I think he would have come to the conclusion that how he was treating Faye was not good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Interesting. Why do you think the author included that part?
With Faye,
Yeah, is it to show that Charlie is now just kind of like everybody else?
um, to me, it feels like it's kind of like the climax of he's come full circle.
Mm. Hmm.
You know, he started off and he was sweet and nice, and then he got, then he's just like getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And then he starts becoming so smart that he starts looking down on other people, where people used to look
Mm.
down on him. So now he's able to objectify people like Faye and just use them for what
Mm.
he wants. And then once he realizes he's become the monster, then he, you know, has like a turning point and is like, okay, I don't want to be like that.
Hmm. Mm. Yeah, we kind of see a similar full circle moment when he's at his mom's house again, and
Hmm.
he's talking to his sister Norma. They're talking about their mom. Um, and it says, "We talked. Ironic to sit there with my sister, the two of us talking about my mother, right there in the room with us, as if she wasn't there. Whenever Norma would refer to their life together, I'd look to see if Rose was listening. But she was deep in her own world, as if she didn't understand our language, as if none of it concerned her anymore." And I was like, to me, I read that and I was like, I feel like he's drawing a connection between how we treat people with disability and how we treat elderly people,
Hmm.
of like, they're not fully with it. They're not really there. They don't understand. And I was like, yeah, kind of right there too.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like when you think of Charlie's experience, the decline, it's so sad and it's tragic and it's all these things, but I think a lot of people do experience this in either being the person or observing the person when people have dementia. And
Mm,
you start
hmm.
forgetting things and you realize that your mind is slipping and you're kind of watching yourself decline.
Yeah. Gosh, that is hard.
Hmm. So this is a line that I think summarizes what I was talking about before. So this is on page 175. And so Charlie's kind of come to his conclusion of his grand opus. He says, something I've discovered for myself very recently, I present to you as a hypothesis. Intelligence without the ability to give and receive affection leads to mental and moral breakdown, to neuroses, and possibly even psychosis. And
Mm,
I say that the mind absorbed in and involved in itself as a self-centered end to the exclusion of human relationships can only lead to violence and pain.
yeah, that is a good line.
So I think like how he was treating Faye like an object and all those things is that he was very, very smart, but he wasn't able to give and receive affection. So then he started having these mental and moral breakdowns.
Hmm. Yeah. Interesting. And I guess that's interesting too, of how we view like what is a successful person or what makes somebody enough. Because the scientists were like, well, if he's smarter, then he'll be normal and he'll be fine. But it's like, actually, there's a lot of aspects to a person. And like, is he kind? Is he morally good?
Hmm.
You know, they didn't think to address that one in their experiments.
No. And I think they tried a little bit with like having him do the therapy sessions,
Yeah.
but it sounded like once he started becoming smart, they didn't know how to like contain him anymore and like figure,
Yeah.
how to help him.
Right. Well, everyone is they just seem so prideful, and like needing to be the authority, that when that authority was threatened, they were like, ah, okay,
Yeah.
you do whatever you want. And so as soon as Charlie became more intelligent than them, they felt, you know, so now they felt like subhuman kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. But yeah, it is interesting that throughout the whole book, really, Charlie doesn't have human connection when
Mm.
his IQ is really low and when it's really high.
So that's interesting because right after that quote that I gave, he says something. This is the quote. When I was retarded, I had lots of friends. Now I have no one. Oh, I know lots of people, lots and lots of people, but I don't have any real friends. Not like I used to in the bakery. And I'm like, did you have real friends in the bakery? Would you consider those real friends? This is
I think at
confusing.
the right. Well, I think at the time he did. But right, they're not real friends because okay, because there's this other quote about him and Alice, and it's like why they can't be together. And he says,
Mhm.
now it's impossible. I am just as far away from Alice with an IQ of 185 as I was when I had an IQ of 70. And this time we both know it. So yeah, it seems like I don't think he ever really had friends. And I do find that curious that he thought that he would say that he had real friends.
Right.
But I think because I kind of feel like he just is saying like at the time he thought he had real friends because that's true. Even though now he looks back and he's like, those were not good. They weren't real friends,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know. That part, and this was right before he had his breakdown. So maybe he wasn't thinking
Oh,
100% clearly, but I was like,
maybe.
this is weird.
Yeah. There's another line that, I mean, I feel like the writing throughout all of it is really incredible, but I feel like in the second half, there's just so many lines where I'm like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
what an incredible line. And there's one where when he's reflecting back on his mom and how his mom seemed to kind of flip from like being protecting him and wanting him try to make him normal to then hating him and viewing him as like the villain to her daughter. Um, he says it was as if her magnetic poles had reversed, and where they had once attracted, now they repelled. I see now that
Hmm.
when Norma flowered in our garden, I became a weed, allowed to exist only where I would not be seen, in corners and dark places. Oh, and I just feel like that magnetic pole imagery. I'm like, I feel like I'm going to think about that for a while now.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
was really nice.
ugh, so good.
And do you know what the definition of a weed is?
Well, okay, there's not really a difference between flowers and weeds, right?
Mm-mm.
Is that what you
A
were going
weed
to say?
is just, yeah, a weed is just something you don't want in your garden.
Yeah. Oh no. It's all
I know.
subjective.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I used to think a weed was like a type of plant, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
I know.
What a shift.
I know.
Man. Okay, what
Something.
did you think of
Oh,
Oh, yeah, no, you go.
nope. Go for it.
Okay. I was gonna ask, what did you think about Charlie kind of being double Charlie?
Oh, that's what I was
Because,
going to ask you. Yeah,
oh my gosh, look at that.
I know.
Yeah, because I thought it was interesting because maybe he was doing this in the first half too, but in the second half it comes up a lot more where he doesn't refer to his mom as mom and dad, but as Rose and Matt. And so it's kind of like they're not even his parents because, like, in a way, intelligent Charlie did start when the experiment started. And
Hmm.
so I guess what did you think about him seeing old Charlie come out just like during his at certain moments in his life? And also bigger question of like, I don't know, what makes a person a person? Their mind, their body, what is it?
Yeah. So that whole concept, whereas like simple Charlie was never, it's not like it's not like simple Charlie was cured so much as he was just
Repressed.
repressed.
Yeah.
Hmm. And so now you have like almost like a split personality type thing happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people could feel like that a lot of times, like if you have like trauma as a young kid and they talk about like consoling your child self. So, like if you have like
Mm,
this really traumatic thing that happened to you as a kid, and then you as an adult, you forget about it. But then, like when you remember it, it feels like it was a different life or a different person. You kind of have like
mm,
this separation between it.
yeah.
And that's kind of what it made me feel like is that it was something like that, where it's like his life before becoming smart was just this big traumatic thing. And now that he is intelligent, he's like kind of separating from it. But I also
Yeah.
wondered, and I don't think this is actually what happened, but I was like, I wonder if what is happening is that his subconscious and his conscious flipped. So like his conscious self is
Oh.
actually Charlie, but his subconscious was actually absorbing all this information this whole time.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because at the end of the book, it flips back. And the smart man, Charlie sees his smart version, like in the window.
Oh. Yeah, I like that read.
I don't know.
I think
It's
that's a good read.
something. I think there's something there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know. I don't know how to interpret that.
Why do you think Charlie doesn't talk to his dad and tell him who
I
he is?
know. I know. I have no idea. Um, I don't know. Could it be okay? Does Charlie find his dad kind of responsible for what happened because he's like, you should have stood up for me that night, or at least like checked in on me after? To where could it be
Hmm.
like you don't deserve to know what happened to me? Or could it be like, I appreciate that you stuck up for me all those years in the way that you could, and why make things harder by revealing myself? Or like, why complicate things? You seem to be having a fine life here.
Hmm.
I don't know. What was it? Was it too emotionally hard for Charlie?
Part of me wonders, I have no idea, but part of me wonders if what he was trying to get at was not needing his dad's approval, maybe.
Oh,
Like trying to kind of be like,
hmm.
I don't need to get a good job from you in order to move on.
But he needed it from his mom.
I guess so.
That's
I don't
interesting.
know. I don't know if that's what, but
Maybe. Maybe it's because his dad always thought he was enough.
I don't know that his dad thought that because why would his dad let him go and visit him
Yeah, that's
and then
true.
let him live with his brother?
Oh
Like
my
that doesn't
gosh,
make any
that's so
sense.
weird. Yeah, it doesn't. I that confused me too. Hmm. Okay. Looked it up on Reddit. Do you want to see Reddit's answer?
Yeah, what do they say?
They say that he chickened out. He didn't have the courage to reveal who he was to his father. Um, he regressed to his childhood state in the face of him and shrank away. And towards the end, I got a sense that Charlie didn't want to be a burden to anyone once he deteriorated again.
But I guess that doesn't explain
That's,
why he would, I guess he just got enough courage for his mom.
yeah, maybe it's kind of like what you were saying, like the need was greater to get his mom's approval
Yeah.
that he went through with it. I don't know. I really have no idea. That's a thinker.
Yeah. I'll have to sit on it. I, so when Charlie goes to visit the home that he's going to stay in if he regresses too far. There's this woman who takes care of, I can't remember what they call them, the cleans and the dirties or something.
Yeah,
Basically,
something like that.
basically,
Heidi's.
can you, yeah, basically, can you use the restroom on your own or can you not?
Yeah.
And she has this, he says that she's a large boned, handsome woman with rolled up shirt sleeves, denim apron. And only when she turned did I see the left side of her face was covered by a large wine colored birthmark. And as they go about talking, she always kind of keeps her birthmark side away from him. And I was wondering, why would he include that detail? Like, what does that mean? And I was like, I wonder if it's kind of like maybe a representation of kind of how Charlie has like this split brain
Oh.
or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't really think about that a ton until you brought it up. I wonder if it's kind of like her version of a disability, like some blemish, and you want to keep it hidden. Kind of like all these people
Mm,
with disabilities, they're being kept hidden.
hmm. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Whenever Charlie, oh, are you good if we move on?
Hmm.
Whenever Charlie drinks a lot and he gets like really drunk,
Hmm.
dumb Charlie comes out.
Yes.
What did you think about that?
Well, I think it maybe is kind of going back to what you were saying of like conscious and subconscious,
Hmm.
where it's like he still is simple Charlie. And like I guess the whole story is about him trying to find out who he is. And in order to do that, he needs to figure out his past. And his past is simple Charlie.
Hmm.
And so like, yeah, like he's still in there. Um, so and I guess that is kind of interesting that like when he takes away his inhibitions or lessens his inhibitions, he reverts back. What's left there is simple Charlie.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. What did you think?
I I think I was circling similar to what you were saying. And when I'm thinking about it now in the totality of the book, I wonder if smart Charlie is locked away watching simple Charlie operate in this world and he's like trying to get out. And does he get out somehow? Does Charlie do art kind of like Addie LaRue? Does Charlie do art and it's actually smart Charlie
Mm-hmm.
eking out? Or, I don't know.
Hmm. Do you think Smart Charlie was always in there before the surgery?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Um, I know because I'm curious too because the book ends with him like checking himself into the Warren home, and he still remembers that he used to be smart, but he doesn't fully remember everything he knew, and he can't like read anymore. But I wonder if, and we don't get to hear this, but like when he's in the Warren home, if he's still looking at all of this and being like, I did something different before. Or if he's like totally fine, like he was before. Like this is my life now.
I took it as even though he was like lower IQ when he was simple Charlie at the end, it's like he still knew I need to go into the like clinic because I don't want to hurt Alice again by forgetting and like showing up here. And that shows like a level of critical thinking and depth
Hmm.
that the beginning
Mm-hmm.
Charlie I don't think could have connected.
That's true. So I don't think we've seen his final descent though. I think he's still on the decline.
Oh, interesting.
That's my thought.
I had a prediction that Alice was going to be pregnant by the end.
Oh, I that would be so interesting. I kind of was also wondering something like
Yeah.
that. Have a flowers for Algernon too.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking like a Forrest Gump kind of thing.
Oh. Yeah,
But
man.
no. And Alice even
Okay.
says while they're, you know, living together temporarily, she's like, when you go to the clinic, I'm not going to go visit you.
Oh my gosh. Why did she say that?
She's keeping it real.
I, I read that. I was like, what? I thought that seemed out of character. I don't know. What did you think of that?
It was weird because I'm like, you cared about him when he was simple.
Right.
So again, it just feels like people using Charlie. I think her intentions with Charlie are not entirely pure. I don't know what she's getting out of this, but I think she's getting something out
Yeah.
of taking care of him because she's only around him when she's in like the position of power. When he's in the position of power, she goes away.
Well, he also didn't bring her back though, because he realized like we don't have anything to talk about now. My IQ is 1,000. I know 12 languages. And like,
I know,
because that
but
was part of why he couldn't connect with people was he just totally isn't on the same level.
yeah, and I know that was part of his choice, but it's also like she didn't put up a fight. She wasn't
Right.
like, I don't know. There's just something about Alice where I don't find her intentions 100% pure.
Yeah, Alice is interesting because she seems like the best character. And I kind of still think that, like, if
I
there's
agree
anyone
with
you'd
that.
want to be friends with, it would be Alice.
Yeah.
But yeah, she also does some weird things like that. But we never, everyone else, we kind of see like their dark side of like, oh, yeah, their mom was in it for herself. The scientists are in it for themselves. And like, I guess maybe Alice is too, but we never see that side of her. So
I think the most wholesome character is actually Faye.
yeah, she's genuine who she is.
She is who she is. She owns it. You know, someone steals money from her and she's like, she probably needed it more than me.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, she's very patient with Charlie when he's being
That's
weird.
true. He's being pretty weird,
He,
especially if you don't know his backstory. It's like, who are you?
yeah. So for the listener, Charlie got wasted with Faye and they were gonna do the deed. And then he started acting. Then, like, simple Charlie came out and he was like sucking on his fist, like in the corner, like saying weird things. And she was like, you were so weird. That was hilarious. And I was like, that's a very generous take. I would have been like, I'm leaving.
Is Faye simple?
I don't think so. She's an artist.
Yeah, I mean, not to like Charlie's level of simple, but just kind of, I don't know. I don't know. Not as much like deep thought as like
I don't,
Alice, because Alice seems to give advice on like moral things and like help guide Charlie.
yeah, I take Faye as she's just different. And like her, how she's like quote unquote like smart is maybe not like book smart,
Right.
but she has like all these other characteristics, which is like when Charlie's really smart, he's still interested in her because she's he can't guess what she's going to do next.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas with Alice, he's like, she's boring.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Hmm.
What did you think about when Charlie started degrading and then he becomes a peeping Tom on his neighbor?
Weird. But also, I think that maybe is kind of what he did when he was Simple Charlie. Maybe not peeping Tom, but it's just kind of like, oh, I enjoy this. I'll do this thing.
So was his mom right for browbeating him
Mm.
when he was looking at his sister in the bathroom?
I think you can get it seemed like Charlie was teachable to the point where you can get the point across without beating him. Because I
Yeah.
think it's right to say like that's not good. You shouldn't look at people in the bathroom.
Yeah.
But I don't think I don't think it was necessary to, beat him, give him 50 lashes, make him scared of all women.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, which is true. I just think it's weird that he becomes like a peeping Tom.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I wonder though if he kind of lost some of those barriers he had earlier because of his mom, because I think when in his adult life he does think things like, oh, I can't look at women because that's bad and mom beat me when I looked at women and so I can't do those things. And I'm wondering if in part 2 if he doesn't have that anymore, does he kind of forget what his mom had like literally beat into him? I forget if that comes up in
Right.
the second half ever.
Is his sexual repression's gone now because
Yeah,
he's kind of
been
dealt with
released.
it in a way. That's a good take.
I don't know. Or like is he like um yeah, like he's worked through some of the things, some of his like trauma with his parents. And so some of those same like trauma responses aren't there.
Mhm.
Maybe, I don't know.
I could see that. Do you think that the bakery boys make up for all their terrible things that they did to Charlie when the new worker goes in and frightens Charlie and he like wets himself and they all like basically beat the crap out of him and kick him out of the bakery?
I know. I did really like seeing that. I'll be honest. I was like, yeah, about time you guys stuck up for Charlie.
Hmm.
Um, I think they do have some growth there because now they see Charlie as a person because they've seen him be smart.
Yeah,
But they should have seen him as a person before.
that's a good point.
And so, like, would they see another person with disability? I mean, maybe now that they've had this experience with Charlie, they would see another person with disability and be like, there's a person in there,
Hmm.
even if, I can't interact with them the same way. And so maybe it would change all of their experiences, all their interactions with people, which I think could redeem them if it goes beyond just Charlie. And like, I think that's kind of a natural response too, is that not that it's natural to think of people as lesser than you if they, don't have all the same abilities, but sure is common to think that. And so like sometimes it takes meeting someone to really have that frame shift and be like, "Oh, that was wrong with me." You know.
Yeah. Well, something they talk about a lot now is like unconscious bias. And it's
Yeah.
just the natural reaction you have to certain stimuli of
Yeah.
people that you meet for whatever reason. And unconscious bias, you can't really do anything about it. It's just like your subconscious just pulling up thoughts or emotions or feelings. But what you do have control over is how you respond to that. It's just because you have a thought doesn't mean that you just think it. You can fact check yourself and say, "Oh, I see this person. They're not smart. They probably don't feel the things that I feel." And then you say,
Yeah.
"No, that's not right. Like I know that that's not true," and things like that.
Yeah.
So maybe they're, you know, like you said, having some personal growth in that
Yeah.
way.
How did you take Joe and Frank?
I took it as my initial thought was that they felt a lot of shame over like when Charlie got smarter than them and they kicked him out and all these things. And now he's like back in the same spot. And I think they were jealous of him when he was flying high. But part of them was happy to see him get out and then to see him come back to the cage knowing he
Mm-hmm.
had all this opportunity and he was going to do all these great things, I think made them kind of sad
Yeah, I think so.
and made them want to be more of like protectors than antagonizers.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of liked that arc for them.
I could also see it being he's our simpleton. We get to make fun of him, but
Mm,
not you.
right. Yeah, do they still make fun of him?
Right.
Possible.
Yeah.
I kind of think they don't though.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
And then even, and so it's also interesting, like Charlie's gone full circle because even that guy who was mean to him, and I was like, he needs to be fired. And Charlie was like, I think he should get a second chance because I don't think he's going to do anything bad to me anymore. And I don't think smart Charlie would have said that.
Mm. Well, okay, I thought that was interesting though because he was making connections with things that happened in the past, and I don't think um first Charlie would have been able to do that because he was thinking back to whoever else, right? Wasn't he? And he was like, "Oh, this guy has like a family to take care of, and like it's hard to find another job." Was he? Did
Yeah,
he think that about
Gimpy.
this guy?
About Gimpy,
Yeah.
he thought that
Oh, he thought that about Gimpy. So when he was
when he
smart,
was
he
smart.
thought that. Oh,
And
he didn't
then
think that at the end.
he said, I remember how sad I was when I got fired from the bakery and had to go away. I said Klaus should get a second chance because now he wouldn't do anything bad to me anymore.
Mm,
So he is remembering, like, I got fired and it was really bad. And like, they did this to me and I really didn't like it.
yeah. I don't know. I think it's possible Smart Charlie could have said that too.
Yeah. I was thinking like peak smart Charlie, he had become like so
Mm.
like self-centered kind of and like egotistical.
Oh,
I feel like he lost like that kind part of him.
oh, yeah. I think you're right. That's interesting. Yeah, that's kind of interesting if you think about his intelligence as something that's kind of like swelling up and it kind of like covered the emotional part of him
Hmm.
that was kind. And then
Yeah.
now that it's shrinking, the kindness is coming out again.
Hmm.
Mm. There were a few lines that stuck out to me where I was like, oh my gosh, so beautiful. Um,
Okay.
and one of them was as he's like regressing, he is still writing his progress reports, but it's getting harder and harder for him because he's losing the ability to write and to think and stuff. And so it says, I've told myself I won't have dinner until I sit down and write something, anything. And you know what he's doing?
The cheese.
Yes, he's rewarding himself with
Uh,
food. Oh no.
I didn't even
Oh my
pick that up. Oh, I
I
hate
know.
that.
I know. Do you want to hear the next one? I thought this one, I was like, oh my gosh, whoa.
Yes.
Okay. So the next one, he's saying goodbye to the scientists. And he says, um, I passed your floor on the way up. Now I'm passing it on the way down. And I don't think I'll be taking this elevator again. So let's just say goodbye here and now. Then he takes the elevator out of the building.
Ugh.
But it's also his intelligence. He passed
I
them on the way up
know.
and on the way down, and he won't be taking the elevator again. Oh my
I
gosh.
hated that too.
Oh my gosh. But I thought it was like
Yeah.
such clever writing. Oh my goodness.
So I have one that made me just like, oh my God, dagger to my heart. So, n what's his sister's name? Norma?
Norma.
Norma. So Norma is talking about the mom Rose and how she has dementia. And she says, she, Rose, doesn't remember much these days. It's old age. Dr. Portman wants me to put her in a nursing home, but I can't do it. I can't stand to think of her in one of those institutions. And I'm like, number one, they put Charlie in one of those institutions when he was a
Yeah.
very young person. Number two, he is about to go back in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh. Okay. Yeah. Like, no one does Norma know
She
after?
doesn't,
Like, does anyone update
right.
Charlie or update Norma on, like, hey, this is what's happening with Charlie?
Do you feel like Norma kind of gets her just desserts by having to take care of the senile mom?
I think it is a good like parallel. And like, does she deserve it? I mean, I don't know what she deserves because on the one hand, she was also a kid. Like, when did Charlie leave? He was 13, 15. She's 5 years
Yeah,
younger. So at most,
yeah,
maybe she was 10. And part of it is like, that's the water you're growing up in. If that's what you see your mom doing,
right.
it's like, that probably is how you're going to act. And she seems to have turned out to be very nice. And like, had she had the opportunity to keep in touch with Charlie, maybe she would have been very kind and loving to him. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and maybe Charlie, because like you said, he didn't want to burden her. Like now she's gonna have two people in institutions. Like,
Right.
what is she gonna be doing? Just visiting them all day?
Yeah,
I mean, that's hard. If your
right,
mom's in a home for people with dementia and Charlie's in a home for people with low IQ, and like, I mean, that's hard.
right. I know. I thought that's one of the things that I really like about this book too, is that it is bringing up the reality of like, it is really difficult and it
Yeah,
really changes things when someone has a disability or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now that you're saying it, I just put this together. I'm sure it's obvious to everyone else, but the parallel of Rose, who despised Charlie because he was dumb, and now she has Alzheimer's, and now she's
Um,
like the dumb one.
yeah. Yeah.
And she's going to spend potentially the rest of her life in an institution like Charlie.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's really intentional choice from Daniel Keyes that the dad totally fine, living his dream as a
Hmm.
barber, and the mom has this really awful case of or illness.
Do you think his barber shop is actually successful? Because when you go there, he says it's closing
Oh, he's
time,
empty.
but it's
Yeah.
empty.
Maybe it's not successful, but he has one.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. His dad seems to be doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just looking up the story behind Three Blind Mice
Oh, yeah,
because
because
they
they keep
mention it all the
quoting it.
time. I know.
Yeah.
I don't think the story has really any real connection. It's about Queen Mary the First um, order to torture and burn three Protestant bishops at the stake. So I think it's a church thing, which I don't really think is what he's getting at. Maybe he's just more getting at the blindness and the childhood rhyme thing.
Let's read it and see
The
if we
three
can figure
blind
out
mice.
who all the mice are. Yeah.
What do you mean? Like read the story behind it or read the actual rhyme?
Just the rhyme. So it's three blind mice, three blind mice. See how they run, see how they run. They all run after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a sight in your life as three blind mice? So if I was trying to map this to this story, you see that the farmer's wife cut off their tail with a carving knife, and the mom ran Charlie out with a knife.
Yeah, sounds like a good connection. He also, there's a line um, where it says, oh no. Oh, oh, actually, never mind. I guess that's not the same. Oh, wait, yeah. There's a line where he says, how strange it is that people of honest feelings and sensibility who would not take advantages of a man born without arms or legs or eyes, how such people think nothing of abusing a man born with low intelligence. And so I don't know, he mentioned not having sight as like it's a physical disability that people might be
Mhm.
more like receptive to. Um, but also he uses blindness as like going from light to dark and like being intelligent and not being intelligent.
Hmm.
And so I think that's maybe where the three blind, I guess that's more of where the three blind mice are going. So like those are, it's kind of like him with his low IQ.
Hmm.
That's how I would interpret that.
Yeah, I could see that. I just looked up Cliff Notes and they said, and I don't know if I 100% agree with this, but it says the nursery rhyme draws the reader and Charlie back to an earlier memory of Charlie seeing his sister in the bathroom. Charlie is a blind mouse in the dark, continually threatened by his mother, but is still continually drawn to her. Charlie even underwent the surgeon's knife to make her happy. Intelligence has not satisfied Charlie's need to please his mother.
Mm. Well, there's some things we agree with there because he didn't feel the
Yeah,
need to see his dad, but
yeah,
he still needed to please his mom.
that's true. I kind of feel like the three blind mice, I want the three blind mice to represent something. I want them to represent simple Charlie, smart Charlie, and Charlie after he regresses or something.
Oh,
Or simple Charlie, smart Charlie, and Algernon. I don't know.
yeah, I could see that. Yeah, actually, I think that's a good, maybe not Algernon, but past, present, and future Charlie.
Yeah.
They're all running to please mom.
Yeah.
And she came after all of
Well,
them with a knife.
and if you think about it, because even smart Charlie is blind because he doesn't have any emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Like arguably simple Charlie is more emotional, has more EQ, it seems like he's able to have like more like empathy and be kinder and
Right.
see the good in people versus smart Charlie, who's like very cynical and egotistical and looks down on people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of interesting going back to like what do we value in people? And it's like, yeah, they wanted to do this experiment to make them smart, but it's like all these scientists don't seem to be very nice people. Maybe they should do experiments to make them nice. That should have been what Charlie did with his month of genius.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, we have about 15 minutes. Are you good to do some wrap-up games?
Yeah, we can do that. It's just such a good book.
I know, so great. I recommend everyone to read it.
Yes.
We didn't do judge a book by its cover.
I thought of that. Do you want to do it now?
Let's do it now.
Okay. Um, so confession, I read the free PDF of this book, which I'm like, I want to buy the book though. So I'll put it on my to buy list because this is a book that I'd love to keep, you know,
Where's
but
the
I
free
don't want to buy books
PDF?
right now.
Why didn't you
I
tell me
sent you a
about that?
link. I sent you a
What?
link. Yeah.
Oh,
There
oops.
were some weird like typos in it, and I was like, probably this is the same book.
Uh, okay.
Yeah, I sent you a link.
Oh, on text. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was on
Okay.
text.
Oops. I missed that one.
Oh,
Okay.
bummer.
But let's look at the cover.
Okay, there's a lot of covers to choose from. Do you want me to share my screen? Yeah, I'll share my
Yeah.
screen. What cover did you have?
Um, so I bought the ebook and I have the blue one. So it's a
This one with
blue
the mouse.
background with a mouse. Yeah.
And there's like a maze behind it.
Oh, that looks like a brain to me.
Oh, you're right. It could be a brain.
But maybe it's
Could be
both.
either. Yeah.
I
The
like that.
brain is a maze.
Yes. So I don't know that this cover would jump out to me.
I think I would be curious as to what it's about and read the back of it.
Yeah.
And after reading the back summary, I think I'd be pretty interested.
If after I've read the summary, I would definitely read it. But just looking at the cover, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. It could kind of go either way for me.
Okay, what about the second cover? And this is a white one with just a mouse.
It looks like a kid's book.
It looks like a kid's book to me. And that actually remind me after we're done with this, I have something to talk
Ooh, more books.
about this book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so I think I'd be more interested in the blue cover than the white one.
Yeah, I think so too. This one looks like Stuart Little to me.
It does.
So
Yeah,
there's
I don't know what's going on.
so looking at any of these covers, are there any that would make you be really interested?
Maybe the blue one is the one that makes me most interested. There's an orange one where there's a mouse going through a maze. There's a white one where there's a Rorschach test. Did I say that right?
The ink blot.
And yeah, the ink blot test. There we go. It has some flowers on it.
What does that ink blot look like
There's
to you?
I thought that could be a game we could do at the beginning as we show each other ink blots and we see what we see.
Oh, that's so funny.
But I didn't do that. I don't know. It could be a bat, it could be a butterfly. And now that I know how these work, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to come up with a story and all these different connections.
Oh, I saw ovaries or I saw a Pokemon.
Oh, I totally see a Pokemon.
Yeah,
I don't see the ovaries. I mean, I could see it, but I didn't see
just
that.
kind of like the bottom part, more of.
Oh, yep, that totally does.
And then like the flowers in the middle. Normally to me, that feels
Oh,
like fertility.
I think you'd get an A plus on the Rorschach test.
Yeah,
You're coming up with
maybe.
all sorts of abstract connections.
Oh, look at that one down at the bottom. It looks like it's a guy with bats. I would read that one.
Oh, that looks spooky. That looks like Addie LaRue level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a guy with yeah, the ink blot has become his wings and there's like a brain growing out of him.
Yeah. And he's holding a mouse and he has no head. I would read that.
I think I'd be least interested in that.
Okay.
Maybe not least interested, but it looks more like mystery suspense thriller.
Yeah. Okay. So you like the blue one the best.
I think I like the blue one. Okay, you'd be most interested in ink blot bat.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Would you
Yeah.
pick it up if you saw that blue one? Would you keep walking?
Mm, 50-50.
Yeah. I would definitely pick up the ink blot bat. I would just need to know, like, what's going on here?
This does raise a lot of questions.
Yeah. Why is your head a plant?
I think it's a brain.
Yeah, I know it's supposed to be a brain, but I would look at it and I'm like, oh, it's a plant. It looks like it's in a pot.
He's a vase, yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you holding a mouse? Why do you look like you're about to take over the world?
Yeah. What's happening?
What do you know that I don't know?
Okay. So what I was going to bring up is that Flowers for Algernon is a very commonly banned book,
Hey,
or
interesting.
it's on the banned book list for schools. What do you think about that?
Well, okay, so I saw that written somewhere. I didn't look into it, but I had the idea. I thought this is what you're going to bring up. That yeah, it's a banned book. Okay, I think it's a really phenomenal book. I could see like maybe not putting it in elementary schools just
Hmm.
because there are some things that come up mainly with like sex and other things where it's like probably
Yeah.
first grader doesn't need to read this.
Yeah.
But middle school, I mean, like I could see some parents in middle school being like, I don't know if I want my kid reading about this kind of for some of the same ideas of like the mature themes.
Hmm.
And I think that's reasonable to think that about books. I
Hmm.
think this is such a good book. It should be read at some point.
What about high school?
I think high school's a reasonable time.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say high school, definitely. If you're banning it in high school, it's like you're not letting people live.
Yeah. Because also it's not
Elementary.
like, mhm.
Oh, no, go for it.
Oh, well, I was gonna say it's not like the sex scenes are like graphic or anything.
No,
Like,
no.
yeah, they're there though. But
I think the reading level is far beyond elementary. If you were an
Yeah.
elementary kid and you were reading it, you would be like dumb Charlie reading it. You'd be reading the words and not like getting it. So
Hmm.
I don't think it's at the right reading level for you to even get it and understand it. Middle
Yeah.
school, I think you could read through it and get most of it, and then high school, definitely.
Yeah. What are the reasons they're banning it? Does it say?
They say for sexual
Yeah.
and language.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that could be why we only read the short story and not the full story. I do kind of feel like in middle school, like my middle school class reading this whole book, I could see some of the sexual things like totally not going well.
Yeah.
Or it's like, yeah, good choice on reading just the synopsis or like just the excerpt or whatever it is.
Well, I remember I read Brave New World in ninth grade. Well, and mom didn't want me to read it. Well, I didn't want to read it because I was like, this is talking a lot about sex and it made me feel uncomfortable. So then mom was
Uh-huh.
like, my daughter shouldn't have to read this. And I got to
Uh-huh.
read Lord of the Flies, I think.
Is that any better? I haven't read it either, I'll be honest.
Lord of the Flies was more like violence,
Okay.
but Brave New World is about like kids. Like, it's like, it was weird. I'm wondering if I should read it as an adult and see if I would have a different opinion of it.
Oh, okay. I do remember this line. I never read this book, but another English class in my high school read this book. And there's this line that everyone kept repeating, orgy, porgy, Ford and fun, kiss the girls and make them one, which is from Brave New World.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, weird. I don't love that.
There, yeah, there was just like a lot of things. So I don't know.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I think Lord of the Flies wasn't quite the same. Hmm.
No.
So, like, would you like recommend not having that book in like middle school? And like, do you think it's appropriate for high school? And I guess maybe
Ugh,
you need to read it again.
I would need to read it again, but I also feel like in general, books should not be banned. I think it's just a very like dangerous line.
Right. I get that.
So to me, don't ban the books.
Yeah.
Maybe don't maybe don't have it be part of the curriculum, but don't kick it out of the library if someone wants to read it,
Hmm.
you know? Because anytime like you're restricting knowledge and information, that just gives me the heebie-jeebies and I don't like it.
Right. What if not? Okay, we don't need to get into this. I was going to ask though, not to make it to the Hitler example, but like, what if someone wanted to read like Hitler's manifesto or whatever? It's like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like there's a lot of power in knowledge, and I think people repeat mistakes if they're not able to learn from it, you
Hmm.
know? Um, yeah, is there a limit to things? I don't know. Maybe you could have, I don't know, age age restrictions on things. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
that's the
like
same thing as banning
PG-13.
books. I don't know. Yeah,
No, I think restricting is different. Like, there's a reason we don't want 5-year-olds watching our movies.
right. So
Yeah. But I
I
guess,
don't know.
yeah, I guess so. To the Hitler example, it's like if you're concerned about that, being a malformation of someone's brain and morals and whatever, it's like them reading the book isn't what failed. It's some other part of the
Right.
education that should have trained them better to know what is good
Yes.
or bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good point.
So
Okay. So books banned. Um, other last end of book games. Are you ready?
we have 5 minutes left.
Okay. Let's go.
Let's
Do
go.
you want to go through all the ratings?
I'm gonna give it a 5.
I know.
So
Perfect five. Everything was
yeah,
perfect.
I
Love it.
wouldn't change anything.
No. Oh my gosh. Any questions for the author?
Mm, I think we kind of asked a couple of those questions. Like what do these things specifically mean? What are the three blind mice?
Oh, yeah.
Is Smart Charlie is it possible for him to come back, or is he like trapped like in this weird coma? Things like that.
Yeah. I like those. I also want to know about the dad and Alice. Why didn't
Oh,
he reveal himself to the dad? Why is Alice dropping him?
yeah.
Weird. That part was
Yeah.
strange.
Was Alice was Alice were her intentions pure?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Reddit wildly approves of this book. So
Uh,
amazing. But there were some things that I thought were funny. Um,
mhm.
and so I'm just going to share some of that if that is okay.
Yeah.
Oh, first, one person also thought that it felt like a sequel to the tragedy of Mice and Men. I said, oh, that's what Candy said.
That is what I said.
So
No,
you're not alone there. They said,
it felt similar.
yeah. So maybe I'll need to read that one again because totally forgot it.
Someone
So,
was even named Lenny in Flowers for Algernon, and that was the big simple guy in of Mice and Men. So I wasn't sure if like
who was
calling
named Lenny?
it was
Oh, it was just a random
somewhere.
character. Oh, I
Yeah,
bet
he just
that
kind of
that could have
popped
been a
up.
nod. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's mice and men. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of coincidences there.
Hmm.
That's interesting. Okay, but some of the other lines about people just loving the book. One person said, "It broke my heart. I'll never read it again, and I recommend it highly."
Fair.
And someone else said the title of their post said, "Goodbye, sub. I've just finished Flowers for Algernon, and I look forward to never reading another book in my life." And then they said, "Not only did I finish it, but I finished it in a winter storm at 3 o'clock in the morning with no power."
Oh my God.
There was no screaming at my fellow bookish friends or the sub. I couldn't even scream into a pillow because I didn't want to wake my family. My only choice was to die internally.
Ugh, same.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, basically everybody loves it.
That's
There's
awesome. I love
yeah,
those.
it's amazing.
What is the ratings on Goodreads?
Oh, good question. I don't know. 4.2. I
I
want
have
to know who
4.4.
gave it.
Oh, that was
I
the
have
short
4.2.
story.
Oh. Oh man, it went down when they got the full story. Okay,
Well,
7,001 stars. Oh my
what do the one stars
gosh.
say? Do the one
Okay, you want
stars
me to
say
tell
that
you?
it should be banned? Yeah.
It says, concept is so interesting, supreme failure in execution. Charlie
What?
is grating and unlikable.
What?
Yeah. Okay. Pacing is slow. Nothing happens the whole book.
What? Uh,
Secondary characters are massive stereotypes with no depth, particularly the woman. The only interesting character I cared about was the dang mouse. I hate mice, hate them. Yeah, here I was only rooting for and invested in a rodent. Wow. Oh my gosh. 6 weeks to trudge through this book and I regret every second of it. Oh my goodness. Okay, wow. Yeah,
some people,
he's sorry, guy. You're wrong.
I was gonna say, some people have bad opinions, and
This is one of them. Okay, some of those things that he said though, I was like, oh, I kind of felt that way with Addie LaRue a little bit.
oh,
Protagonist
what do
isn't
you
super
mean?
likable,
Yeah.
pacing is slow, but then it picked up. I mean, I liked Addie LaRue in the end.
Addie LaRue is also
Overall,
three
I think.
times longer.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So that can kind of, you know,
Mm,
exacerbate like something that you're kind of like, not into. It can
yeah, that's
exacerbate it.
true. Yeah.
Do you want to hear what Bookalicious put on Goodreads?
Yeah, what did we put on Goodreads?
This book was excellent from beginning to end. I didn't research the book at the beginning and had no idea it was written nearly 70 years ago, i.e., timeless. This makes you think about how
Mm.
society treats mentally handicapped people and how I, as an individual, can contribute or help these people.
Oh, that's a good review. I
Contribute
would
or
like that
harm these
review.
people is what I meant.
Hmm,
Yeah,
that's okay.
I fixed it. But yep. What?
Okay, do you want to hear someone's insight on the names? Because I was like, well, that's a good name.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, if you have time. So this guy gave it a 1 star, but he had good insight on the names. Matt, his doormat dad.
Oh.
Rose, his thorny mother who cared only about appearances. Norma, his normal sister.
Normal.
Charlie, good old Charlie. I don't really know what that means, but I guess just like standard, no character, flat. Is that what it is?
I'm thinking like good old Charlie Brown.
Hmm. Someone said
What?
the main thing for me was that Charlie is an insufferable ass, and we are supposed to somehow feel bad for him. He went from retarded to genius, and yet all he could do was to go on and on about his mommy issues. These people didn't
Okay.
read it.
That or I don't know. They need to see a therapist.
Yeah, I agree.
Listen, everyone has mommy issues. Number one. If you can't empathize with that, something ain't right. All right. Well, let's close
Okay,
out.
time to go.
Yep, this
This
was
was super
great.
fun. Thanks for
So
reading.
our next book, God of the Woods.
Out of the woods. I'm gonna get it
All right.
from the library.
All right.
Good.
Yep. So pick up your God of the Woods. Quick Bookalytics update, just to let you know, California and Georgia, we've been neck and neck for who's number one. Or I'm sorry, I think it's Texas. Texas and Georgia. Oh, and California. So Texas is at 11%, Georgia's at 10, and so is California.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's really anybody's game right now. So
Oh my gosh.
if you're in any of those high ticket states and you want to be number one, recommend this to a friend and give us 5 stars and give us a review.
That's the only way to win our Book Olympics. Ooh, look at the gold.
The Book Olympics. I love that.
Can we do it Abby Lee Miller style with the pyramid and the big
Oh my
reveal? Who's on
God.
top this
Oh
week?
my God. That's so funny. All right, girly girl. Love you.
Okay, love you too. Bye.
Bye.